A really a big challenging role, not only for the companies, but also for the GCs. I have my own experience. We trained quite a few good candidates. They have been there in the system, but the market demand is such that they had to leave and go. I have all the smiles for some of the a couple of colleagues who are there present in the room. But the point here is that it's not a simple task as we imagine it to be. It's a big process which need to be run through. And that's where we have this illustrious panel. Murli Nilkantan, he was there earlier in London with a leading law firm, followed by he came to India, Khaitan, he's a partner, he was a partner with the Khaitan, and maybe the last year I think he joined Cipla. He's with Cipla at the moment. So he'll be leading as a moderator with the other panel members on the excellent topic and the challenging topic of the day, that's on talent acquisition and the retention. And I have to make one announcement. This is about 3 of the charity partners. It's something novel. Just listen to this carefully. 3 of the charity partners, IDIA, iPro Bono, Trust Law. All the 3 have started a kind of a raffle whose tickets are available outside, maybe at some convenient time, maybe in the post-lunch or maybe in the evening if they are available. These proceeds will go to a charity. And the sponsors are IDIA, iPro Bono, and Trust Law. All we request you is to buy the raffle tickets during the course of the day. And during the dinner, the lucky winner/winners will be announced depending on how many tickets you buy. More the tickets, more the winners, less the tickets, maybe could be won. But please contribute to the cause. This is a short announcement. Thank you. Murli, all for you.
I think all of us understand that there is a war for talent, and more so amongst lawyers. My recent experience is that somehow in-house legal teams find it more difficult to hire than perhaps law firms, and there's a perception amongst lawyers that life's better in law firms. Acknowledgement of their work and recognition of their work is much more in the law firms. There's a tangible way of measuring whether they're successful or not. They get made up partners and everybody thinks of them as bee's knees. So there seems to be a challenge for in-house counsel to hire, secondly keep, and finally promote. And we thought that we'll share some of our experiences. How is it that some of us do it? And hopefully in about 40 minutes you'll have enough ideas that we throw out to you that you can relate to, and perhaps ask questions that will help all of us take away something from this panel to say, here's what some other company does, perhaps I can use it. Or some of you may think, wow, those guys are much worse than us, we're way ahead of those guys. Either way, it gives you a sense of what others are doing. I'm sure we'll all be there after at lunchtime as well. And the lunch not very good, we'll find your company more attractive than the food, then you're welcome to ask us questions there as well. I understand we're running a little late, so we're going to contribute about 15 minutes of our time to the next panel so that we catch up. Yeah, so we'll finish before that. So I think the outline of this discussion, as we've thought of, will be that let's look at where we hire from. Let's understand what are the different kinds of people we hire from. It also determines, therefore, where we hire from. What are these qualities that we look for? Can we find a way of distinguishing them? And thirdly, what is our pitch when we hire for each of us? How do you distinguish, Citibank from Coca-Cola, from Cipla, from Hindustan Lever? What is that pitch that we give to potential candidates? Can we live up to it? Because that goes into the next one, retention. What are these issues that we find when we hire laterals? What is their expectation? What is their understanding of market practice? What is their experience with the previous organizations? Is there something that we're learning from that? And can we tune our pitch to what we hear from the others? What are the big issues that we have with evaluation, retention? What are we doing about it? Everybody understands the issue. What is each of us doing about it? So that's the overall messages that we need to respond to in less than an hour. But I'll start in the order that we have Pramod sitting right next to me. Pramod, what is the composition of the legal team? Where do you hire from? And how do you do it?
Sure. So I would say within city, we actually prefer far more, I would say, lateral hiring rather than on campus. At a previous organization that I've been at, which is ICICI, it's been far more oriented towards doing both, going to campus and hiring laterally. But truly, I think it comes down to the question of how the organization mold is. If really the legal team is meant to be lean and small, I think given, and I'm speaking obviously to a lot of us who are from the in-house community, we have headcount constraints, we have issues about how many people we can hire and so on. So then one tends to look at people who are already qualified and well-versed with what you would like to deploy them in. And that ends up being the preference towards lateral. That's not to say that we shouldn't go to campus. I think where we can and we have the budgets to do that. Training people right off campus is actually the best way of getting them to ingrain what you want them to work towards, deliver. Train them on the job literally. And I have seen organizations do that pretty well too.
Shukla, you have a different view?
Yeah, slightly different. I mean, almost similar, but a little different from that. You know, when Coca-Cola is growing immensely in the country, so therefore we've been trying to hire, we've enlarged our team, and we've been looking for potential talent, right from the, entry level, right up to the, vice president level. But we're finding it a big challenge to get the right potential talent for us. So sometime last year, the HR team and us, we got down together, we said, how do we deal with the situation? Because A, recruiting, B, retaining. So we felt that, instead of going top down, we said, let's try bottom up for the first time. So last year, we did recruit 3 good potential trainees, gave them a 6 months, and we didn't put them into the legal profession straight away. We sent them to the market, we sent them to the plant, we gave them operation training for at least 4 months of the 6 months that they did. They came back and asked us that, why are you sending us to this? We're not doing anything law. I said, law, you'll now start. I said, it's important for you to understand. And that's been a good decision for us, because all the 3 that we had recruited last year have turned out to be good resources for us, and they are really chipping in far more than we had anticipated that. That's at the entry level. Now at the mid level, we do get young talent coming in, but their aspirations are so high, and they always will say, oh, I am so-and-so person, and I am so-and-so person, and I am getting this, so what are you going to give me? It's not what they bring on board. It's what is it that we can give them. To the extent that we're looking for at a very senior level, and I interviewed a candidate yesterday, he says, if I come to your company, he's a GC in another organization, I'm going to downgrade myself. So I said, if you're telling me you're going to downgrade yourself as coming as number 2 in an organization, why are you considering? So it is a challenge, and it is a challenge for us to get these talents. We've tried, we are open. Initially we said we want FMCG and stuff like that. Then we moved out of it. We said FMCG, okay fine, we know what the talent is and what the potential talent by and large are. I'm not that we've interviewed everybody. Then we said, okay fine, which is the other thing? Because we are a highly operational company. So we need people who are smart, who will stand on their feet, and the turnaround time is also very high. So what did we do? We said, that, okay fine, which are the other industry young talents who could meet the challenge that is there? We started looking at the IT industry, we started looking at the telecom, not the IT, sorry, the telecom industry, and also pharma industry. And trust me, when you start looking at, if you move out of your silo of this industry forum that you are and start looking, you don't have to look at a lawyer to see whether he knows law. What you really need to see is whether he or she knows how to use the knowledge he or she is in the job that they're going to be coming. That's broadly how we are working on it.
Okay, my comments. I'm a very big fan of having entry-level talent, and most organizations do this in all of the functions. Like Shukla just mentioned, we have just done a pilot in the legal function, which is a new thing for us. Young talent that comes in at entry level, you are bound to have a certain amount of attrition, and you should plan for that. That you will probably, out of the 10 people that you hire, there will be only one that will stay for 10 years. But that one person is worth it because you are looking at a future leader in the organization. And I think that the attempt that we have made in legal, while the jury is still out on how successful it is, but I have a feeling that that's an excellent methodology of really grooming in-house talent. It also builds a very good atmosphere or a very good engagement atmosphere in the whole organization wherein you are grooming internal talent. These are the people who will become legends in the future. We have, when we go out to B schools and hire, there are always the same 2 or 3 people that we talk about who joined our company at the entry level, joined us as management trainees, and are today part of our leadership team. And that is a big draw for people. So if you can see yourself being somebody in 15 years, and there's a real person out there that you can really look as a role model, it gives a very, very good example and a very good role model, and drives engagement within the organization. So I think we are yet to know how the legal thing will work, but I think the entry level is a very good thing because it prevents you from having to do any unlearning. People who come in with a certain experience, there is a certain amount of unlearning that you need to do, the so-called cultural fit that we were talking about. So that unlearning that is not really required if you hire somebody fresh. Also, people who come in fresh from good schools, whatever be the domain, whether it is HR school or a law school, they are more likely to be up to date with what are the latest developments in the field. So that helps you get good raw talent which is not unfamiliar with anything that is happening today. While they are not experts on anything, but they are not unfamiliar. So it's a very good raw material, and I think that's a great way to really build internal talent. Knowing fully well that you will lose some of them. So because young people want to experiment, they want to try out different things, they want to go into in-house or as you call law firms, they would want to experiment in all of that. So you will lose some people, but it's worthwhile trying that. So that's my take on it.
But isn't the experience that law firms are leading this by willing to accept these facts? So my experience on both sides has been that law firms are willing to say, we will lose 70% of our first year intake by year 4. That is the normal attrition in a law firm, that first year associates that you take in, let's assume you hire 50 of them, 70% of those you will lose by year 4. But you want to lose them also by year 4 because we are in a pyramid. Therefore, they're willing to invest in those 70% that are going as well and hope that those will become brand ambassadors for the firm wherever they go. We've seen that in-house with the management teams that you hire, but I'm yet to see companies hiring from campus with that view. If you look at the numbers that you see, very few, ICICI I know is an exception, which hired 8 people out of the national law schools. And we only have stats for national law schools, we don't have the others. But everybody else is rarely on campus every year. They are randomly on campus. And therefore, to me, it's a question that we have to ask ourselves. Are we decided that we are not going to invest in fresh graduates? Have we decided that we will only wait for them to be molded by the law firms or somebody else for the next 2-3 years? And we'll pick them after 3 years because we have headcount issues, we can't train. Is that the stand that a lot of us feel? It's really not worth the effort for what we are getting.
I think I'd like to respond at 2 levels. I think one is to say that is there an intent to grow from the bottom up or at entry level? I think indeed there's a desire. Practically at Citi, I've faced a couple of challenges. So we said, okay, let's give the experience of these people from law school through internships. And we actually went down, we had an elaborate selection process for interns, and we got them on board. Towards the end of internship, they told us, well, we have our recruitment process starting in April. We said, great. So when do you graduate, by the way? And they graduate in June 2016. Yeah. Now, by the way, law firms are going that much in advance and picking up people from that batch starting April. Now, for us as corporates to actually start projecting and saying, I not only have headcount challenges, I have to project into that I will make an offer, keep it alive for 1.5 years, and then pick up the guy next July, I think is asking for really too much. Yeah, do we have to talk back to the law firms to say, can we push the schedule much closer to the graduation day? We need to have that conversation. because if we are actually the consumers of those law firms, they need to give us adherence too, right? But I'm just saying these are some of the practical challenges. But again, I don't think it's a debate that we would like entry level. I think there will be individual constraints which do operate on organizations. ICSA, for instance, has, for remarkably from 2004 onwards, 5 onwards, been recruiting at the pace of about 20 people from different campuses every year. So they've been injecting that at the entry level, and I'm saying upwards of 20. Now what it does is, indeed the 70% attrition theory. To me, the people who have stayed on have become actually leaders in their own right. Leading those practice areas, becoming brand ambassadors back on the campus for attracting the fresh set of people. And those that have stepped out and indeed enjoyed even more success, if I can call it so. So to me, it's not about not investing or not about taking that step. I think we all need to. But some of these practical constraints are what we need to register and deal with.
Have you recruited on campus?
Sorry?
Have you recruited on campus?
Yeah, we did go to the campus and we recruited from the campus.
But
we didn't go to the National Law School because we know that when it comes to the law firm and the way they splurge money out there, it will be difficult for us to match up with them.
Were you so far out? Were you so far out in terms of the opportunity?
The reason why we didn't also, we had two aspects of consideration why we didn't go to a national law school because A, we realized when these people who come out from a national law school, they come with a chip on the shoulder. It's very difficult to hold them even for a shorter period of time. So hence we didn't, A, that was one, and B, we knew that yes, there would be large law firms who would be going and who would be throwing. And there would be a big difference between what we offer and what a law firm would be offering. And the other difference also that comes in, the taxation component of it. 75% of the money they will get, but then as an employee, you have to pay the tax that you're supposed to pay. So there you have a competitive disadvantage in any which case. So we didn't go to the National Law School. We went to Amity and went to Symbiosis. We had the discussion.